Hello there, and welcome to this Sleepy Science Zone. Tonight, you don't have to do anything. Just breathe. Let your shoulders relax and give your body permission to rest. Maybe it's been a long day, or maybe you've just been carrying a little too much. Either way, even now, something beautiful is happening inside you. Every heartbeat, every breath is a quiet act of healing. Your body never truly stops. While you're listening, trillions of cells are wide awake, sending tiny signals, fixing small damages, and renewing what time has worn down. It's not chaos, it's rhythm, a steady flow of balance happening beneath your skin. You don't have to control it. You don't have to earn it. Just being here, breathing softly, is enough. Right now, your blood is moving in slow harmony, carrying oxygen like light through hidden rivers. As you breathe in, your body gathers what it needs. As you breathe out, it lets go of what it no longer wants to carry. Healing isn't a single moment. It's a rhythm that never ends, a gentle dance that life performs through you. So tonight, let it happen. Let your body play its quiet symphony. You are safe, and you are already healing, even now. There's something quietly amazing about your body. It doesn't just heal, it remembers how. Every scar that faded, every pain that passed, left behind a kind of map inside you. The cells in places once hurt respond faster the next time, as if they've learned the choreography of recovery. Science calls it cellular memory, but it's really something deeper. The memory of life itself. The memory of patience, of resilience, of knowing how to begin again after breaking. Even when your mind feels tired, your body still holds that wisdom, like an old song that plays the moment you need it most. Tonight, you can rest in that music. Let your breath grow soft and slow. Let your body remember what it has always known: how to return, how to repair, how to love itself back into wholeness. Take a slow breath in. Can you feel it? The air moving through your nose, down into your chest, spreading like soft light through every cell. Each deep breath sends a message through your whole body. The heart slows, the vessels open, and stress hormones begin to fade. Breathing isn't just air, it's the body's way of saying, "I'm safe now." Scientists call it the relaxation response, when each inhale and exhale triggers hundreds of healing reactions all at once. In that quiet rhythm, tired cells receive fresh energy, the brain finds balance, and the immune system glows like lanterns in gentle rain. You don't have to force anything, just breathe. Breathe in to nourish yourself. Breathe out to let the weight go. With every breath, chemistry shifts toward calm. With every sigh, the body whispers back, "Everything is okay." When you close your eyes, it feels like everything stops, but inside, life is only shifting into another phase. Sleep isn't stillness. It's a quiet workshop where millions of tiny workers begin their night shift. Growth hormones rise, muscles knit themselves back together, memories reorganize, and the day's thoughts are gently washed away by slow waves of cerebrospinal fluid. Scientists call it the deep restoration cycle, the body's nightly act of calibration, tuning every system back into harmony. Your mind may think it's resting, but your body is building, repairing, and remembering how to be whole. So, let sleep do its work. You don't have to guide it. You don't have to understand it. Just breathe and surrender. Night is where life rebuilds itself, quietly, patiently, and completely. Every morning, When sunlight touches your skin, your body recognizes something. It knows a new day has begun. Light isn't just for seeing. It's a signal, a silent cue that resets your entire rhythm. It wakes your hormones, tunes your metabolism, and whispers to your brain, it's time to begin again. Morning light triggers serotonin, the calm, steady chemical that lifts your mood and focus. By nightfall, that same pathway transforms into melatonin, guiding you into deep, healing sleep. Your body listens to light the way a musician listens to tempo, staying in time with the universe itself. People who greet the sun each day tend to sleep better, feel calmer, and recover faster. Because healing isn't only internal, it's a conversation between you and the world, between your cells and the sun, between your heartbeat and the turning earth. So, when the morning light touches your eyelids, let it remind you, you are alive, you are nourished, and you are still healing, in rhythm with the light. More than half of you is water, and that water isn't just a liquid. It's the ancient language of life. It flows through every cell, carrying minerals, memories, and subtle vibrations that science is still learning to understand. Some say water can remember, and maybe that's not just poetry. Inside every drop, molecules shift their shape in response to sound, to emotion, to gentle intention. When you are calm, the water within you is calm. When you are tense, it stirs and ripples. But when you breathe slowly and release, it returns to stillness, like a lake settling after the wind. Water is rhythm. Water is memory. Water is a mirror for your soul. When you drink, when you bathe, or simply listen to the sound of rain, you're speaking to a deeper part of yourself. Let the water inside you move freely. Let it carry away what's heavy and bring back what's peaceful. Among all the sounds inside you, the heartbeat is the most honest voice. It never rushes, never pretends. It just keeps time, patient and steady, like an old friend watching over your life. When you're calm, it slows. When you're afraid, it races. Your heart responds to emotion before your mind even knows what's happening. Physiologists call it heart-brain coherence, the harmony between your heart and brain, when breath, feeling, and awareness move in the same flow. As you inhale slowly, the heart adjusts. As you exhale, it sends signals of peace back to your mind. Just by listening, you begin to heal. The heart doesn't just pump blood, it teaches the body how to rest, and the mind how to let go. Tonight, place your hand over your chest. Feel that rhythm, not to count it, but to remember, you're still here. Life is still singing softly inside you. The human mind is like the sky, always moving, always filled with clouds and wind. But when the air grows still, when the clouds drift away, you can finally see what's underneath. Calm, vast, and clear. All day long, your mind has been working, thoughts, plans, memories, worries, racing across your inner horizon. But as your breathing slows, the brain begins to shift. Its waves moving from busy beta into alpha, then theta, the frequencies of meditation, of creativity, of deep sleep. That's when the body begins to heal. You don't have to stop thinking, just watch. Let your thoughts pass like leaves floating on a river, noticed but untouched. The mind doesn't need to be empty, it just needs to be gentle. And when it becomes gentle, the body follows, quietly, faithfully, like the night cradling the moon. Every night, as the moon drifts across the sky, your body quietly adjusts to its rhythm, whether you notice it or not. For thousands of years, human biology has been tuned to lunar light. When the moon is full, hormones shift. Sleep shortens, emotions grow vivid. When it wanes, melatonin deepens, and the mind slips more easily into calm. Scientists call it the lunar rhythm, nature's ancient clock that guided us long before machines did. But for your body, it's simpler than that. It's a reminder. Breathe with the world around you. Inhale as the moon rises. Exhale as it fades. Each breath mirrors the same cycle: expansion and release, light and rest. When you breathe slowly, you fall back into the same orbit as the Earth itself. And within that rhythm, healing happens quietly, effortlessly, just as the moon waxes and wanes. Have you ever noticed that darkness isn't something to fear? It's where everything rests so it can begin again. When night falls, your eyes take a break. Your mind stops chasing light. And your body finally gets permission to come home to itself. In darkness, your brain releases melatonin, the sleep hormone that slows your heartbeat, lowers your blood pressure, and awakens deep restoration. Biologists call it the biological night, the sacred hours when life rebuilds itself in silence. There's nothing threatening about the dark. Inside it, every cell begins to glow with its own quiet light. Your body knows exactly what to do when the world dims. It softens the nerves, lowers the energy, and starts composing its nightly song of repair. Darkness doesn't hide you, it holds you. So tonight, let it do what it's meant to do. Let it wrap around you gently, keep you safe, and carry you towards sleep, where everything mends itself without effort and without sound. There are sounds you'll never hear, and yet they're the ones that heal you most. The sound of blood moving, lungs expanding, the brain resting between thoughts. That's the sound of silence, something the modern mind has almost forgotten how to listen to. In silence, the brain stops reacting and starts reconnecting. Emotion, memory, and reason begin to flow together again. Neuroscientists have found that even a few minutes of quiet can trigger the birth of new brain cells, something once thought impossible. Silence isn't empty. It's space, the room your mind needs to breathe. When you stop speaking, the inner world begins to whisper, gently, slowly, honestly. And in that stillness, old feelings settle, dissolve, and turn into light. Let tonight be quiet. Because it's only in silence that you can finally hear the most important truth. You are enough, and you are healing. Tonight, if you look up, you'll see millions of stars quietly breathing. No rush, no effort, just shining softly, as if to remind us that not everything needs to strive to glow. Physicists say the light you see from a star may have left it thousands, even millions of years ago. That means many of those stars no longer exist. Yet their light still travels, still comforts us in the dark. The same is true for your mind. Even after loss, it continues to emit small rays of hope, not through force, but through quiet persistence. You don't have to push to shine. You just have to be seen. When you gaze at the stars, you're really seeing yourself. Calm, resilient, luminous, even in fatigue. And when the mind finally slows down, like that vast sky above, you'll understand. Rest isn't stopping. It's returning to the rhythm of life itself. Take a deep, slow breath, as if you're drawing the whole sky into your chest, and exhale gently, as if releasing a tiny star back into the universe. Each breath is a thread, connecting you to life, to the earth, and to distant fields of light. Biologists say that the oxygen you breathe today may once have lived inside a bird, a mountain, or a star that exploded billions of years ago. So every time you inhale, you're taking in part of the cosmos, and every time you exhale, you give a piece of yourself back. Breathing isn't just physiology. It's an ancient ritual of connection. When you breathe slowly, your cells shift into healing mode. Your heart rate drops. Your brain waves soften, and your body remembers how light once moved through it. If you listen closely enough, you'll realize your breath is light, moving in and out in silence. One pulse of light, one rhythm of life. A quiet affirmation that you are still here, and you are healing. More than 70% of your body is water, but not just any water. It's a living archive of memory. Biophysicists have discovered that water molecules vibrate with the frequencies around them: sound, light, even your emotions. When you are calm, the water within you moves in slow, circular waves, like a still lake beneath the moon. When you're tense, those vibrations become scattered and sharp, like ripples in a shaken glass. Your body knows this. When you begin to relax, the water reorganizes itself, recording your peace in every drop, in your cells, your blood, your breath. Every molecule carries the memory of healing, for it has been rain, river, and ocean, touching every form of life before finding its way to you. When you sip water, when it touches your tongue, your lungs, or your skin, imagine the world flowing through you, washing away the weariness, restoring the ancient rhythm of balance. Water is never lost. It only changes form, just like you, in this quiet process of becoming whole again. Some nights, your heart beats a little too fast, not from fear, not from love, but because it's been carrying too many hurried moments. And then, as you lie down, as your breathing begins to slow, the heart starts to listen. It listens to your breath, to the quiet, to the silence between thoughts. Neurophysiologists call this heart-brain coherence, the moment when your heart, your brain, and your breath fall into rhythm like three instruments playing the same gentle song. In that harmony, the heart is more than a pump. It becomes the conductor of peace. It sends a signal upward, whispering, "We are safe now." The brain obeys, softening its alarms. The body returns to its ancient tempo, slow, steady, warm. Try placing your hand on your chest. Feel the pulse beneath your fingers. Each beat is a thank you, a small drum of life still singing within you. Your heart has never left you. It's only been waiting for you to be quiet enough to hear it. As you drift deeper into quiet, something extraordinary begins. Your body reactivates its own healing system. No bright hospital lights, no medicine, only slow breathing and trust. At this stage, immune cells start their nightly patrol, searching for what needs repair. Tiny blood vessels open, oxygen floods each tissue, and the cells begin to communicate in silence, the language of recovery. Biologists call this the rest repair mode, a state that awakens only when the mind lets go. When you stop fighting the weight of the day, the body remembers how to heal. Like a forest after the storm, it doesn't need instruction, only time, air, and light. You are the same. Each night as you surrender, millions of tiny reactions quietly go to work, mending cells, regenerating tissues, soothing what's been inflamed. Your body has never stopped loving you. It's only been waiting for your permission to rest, to heal. None of us truly realize how deeply we're being healed when we sleep. As consciousness drifts away, the brain begins to organize memories, clearing out the stress that's been piling up through the day. Neurons work like gentle cleaners, gathering old thoughts, sorting them, washing them away with the steady flow of cerebrospinal fluid. At the same time, growth hormones rise, silent builders rebuilding tissues and mending what was strained. The heart slows down, blood pressure drops, breathing deepens, a quiet symphony for the workshop of recovery. Researchers call sleep the natural physician, because no medicine can replicate what the body does in those hours of surrender. As you fall deeper, muscles loosen, cells regain their strength, and even the spirit feels renewed. You don't have to try or control, just trust, and let your body do what it was born to do, heal in silence. Have you ever noticed that every breath you take is a quiet miracle? No noise, no effort, just air, moving gently through you, carrying life in and peace out. Physiologists say that when you breathe deeply, your lungs don't just take in oxygen, they send a signal of safety throughout your body. Each cell receives that message and relaxes, opening like petals warmed by sunlight. And when you exhale, it's more than air leaving. It's the release of worry, tension, and everything you no longer need to hold. If you close your eyes right now and focus on your breathing, you'll sense it, not just as air, but as a river of light moving through you. A warm, gentle light flowing slowly, touching every corner of your being, whispering, "Everything is okay now." And in each breath, you return, not to the past or the future, but to this exact moment where peace has always been waiting for you. Inside your body, trillions of cells are working tirelessly, and the miracle is they never complain. Even when you're tired, angry, or sad, they keep sustaining you like quiet workers in the dark. Scientists have found something beautiful. When you smile, your body releases tiny messengers of joy, positive molecules that flow through every system. They help blood vessels relax, steady your heartbeat, and awaken your immune system as if the whole body just received a gift. A smile, it turns out, isn't just emotion. It's a biological signal of healing. When you smile at yourself, even just a little, you're telling every cell inside, "We are safe," and they listen. The cells in your heart, your liver, your skin, they all respond by moving more gently, more harmoniously. Perhaps healing isn't something grand at all. It's simply a chain of small smiles passed from the heart to each cell and back again, like light reflecting inside a drop of clear water. There's a quiet miracle few people ever think about. There is light in your blood, not the kind your eyes can see, but tiny pulses of photons released as your cells exchange energy. Biologists call this biophoton emission, a form of biological light that every living being gives off, as naturally as breathing. When you relax, that light grows stronger, more harmonious. When you're stressed, it flickers and fades. Your body, in a way, is a symphony of light, each cell a glowing note in the grand orchestra of life. As you breathe slowly and your heart beats in calm rhythm, that inner light travels through your bloodstream, illuminating tired places. It passes through your heart, your brain, your aches, and leaves behind warmth. If you listen closely, you might even feel it, yourself beginning to glow, gently, quietly. Not from anything outside, but because the life within you is shining again. Pain is not the enemy. It's your body's way of asking to be heard. Every time something aches, remember, That's the place inside you asking for care, for your gentle return. Neuroscientists say pain is the oldest language between the brain and the body, not meant as punishment, but as protection. When you've carried too much for too long, pain is how your body calls your attention home. But the miracle is, once you start listening, the pain begins to change. It softens, it warms, sometimes transforming into a quiet pulse, as if the body is whispering, "Thank you for hearing me." Studies show that acceptance rewires the brain, lowering pain signals and triggering healing pathways. When you stop resisting the pain, you open the door for recovery. And from then on, pain is no longer darkness. It becomes a small light, guiding you gently back to yourself. There are moments when the world outside feels too loud, and your body just wants to hide inside a pocket of stillness. Don't fear that silence, because it isn't empty. Psychologists have found that when a person sits quietly long enough, the brain's fear centers calm down, while the regions linked to trust and serenity begin to glow. Silence, then, is not a void. It's where the mind finally breathes. In stillness, neurons reconnect, the heartbeat slows, and the immune system strengthens. You don't need to do anything. Just let yourself be wrapped in quiet, as if the universe itself were giving you a gentle hug. Imagine silence as a soft blanket around you, keeping your soul from shivering. And while you rest there, everything feels lighter, clearer, as if the world remains but has softened. Silence isn't where you disappear. It's where you rediscover the rhythm of your own breathing. Sometimes our mind feels like a river blocked by countless stones, memories, worries, plans, and unanswered questions. But when you pause and breathe slowly, you can feel each stone begin to dissolve. The current of the present, clear, soft, and unburdened, starts to flow again. Neuroscientists call this the flow state, where the brain stops judging and consciousness moves in harmony with action. In that moment, you no longer try to be present. You simply are. Every sound, every glimmer of light, every heartbeat becomes part of the same gentle current of existence. There is no before, no after, only now, like a drop of water resting perfectly still on a leaf. When you let your mind drift that way, without control, without holding, you'll see that peace was never a destination. It's always been hidden inside the very moment you're willing to let go. There are rare moments when you lie still and realize time seems to have stopped. No past to regret, no future to plan. Only a soft space wrapping itself around each breath. Quantum physicists say time isn't really a flow. It's the brain's way of arranging moments so we can understand change. But when you truly become still, you step outside that structure. The present expands like the universe, and you're no longer someone moving through time. You're the one watching it move. In that silence, each heartbeat isn't measured in seconds, but in life. Each breath isn't a unit of time, but of being. And you suddenly realize there's nothing to escape, nothing to hold. Because right here, in this stillness, time is no longer a river, it's the sky, and you are the wind passing through it. When your body slows and your mind stops struggling, you begin to feel something extraordinary, that you're no longer separate from the world. Your heartbeat merges with the pulse of the earth, and your breath moves in rhythm with the wind outside. Astrophysicists say that everything in the universe vibrates, from the tiniest particle to the farthest galaxy, all resonating with a background frequency they call cosmic resonance. And in that deep stillness, you can feel it. There's no boundary between you and the universe. Only a slow, warm wave carrying you across layers of light. You realize that everything is breathing together. The stars, the oceans, and you. Life isn't something inside you. You are inside it. And once you understand that, loneliness fades, because you've always belonged to a greater music playing beyond yourself. It may sound strange, but even in absolute stillness, the universe is listening to you. Not with ears, but through vibration, the subtle waves created by every breath, every heartbeat you make. Physicists call this quantum vibration coupling, when the particles of your body interact with the surrounding quantum field. That means even when you're resting quietly, you're sending out a signal, your own gentle, one-of-a-kind melody into the cosmos. When you're angry, that signal trembles sharply. When you're calm, it hums softly, round and clear. And in ways we can't yet measure, the universe responds by drawing to you moments, people and chances that share your same frequency. Perhaps that's why the world feels gentler when you are at peace. You don't need to beg the universe to hear you. It always does. Just whisper with honesty from your heart, and those vibrations will travel farther than you can ever imagine. Every time you find calm, even for a few seconds, the world around you feels it. Not through words or actions, but through the subtle field of energy that flows from you. Quantum biologists have discovered that humans can synchronize their heart's electromagnetic field with another person's simply by being present. A gentle smile, a soft gaze, a slow breath. All are waves carrying the signal of kindness. When you walk into a room in peace, another person's heartbeat can unconsciously adjust to match your rhythm. It's the resonance of compassion, a language that doesn't need sound to be heard. So each time you choose gentleness, you're not just healing yourself, you're teaching the world how to slow down. A small wave from your heart can travel far, through air, through glances, through silence itself, reaching places you may never know. If you close your eyes and listen deeply, you'll notice the world is breathing too. The wind moves through forests. The ocean expands and contracts with the tides, and the air around you rises and falls like the lungs of a living planet. Meteorologists have described Earth as a breathing organism, with oxygen and carbon cycling through its day and night rhythm. And you, a small creature within that grand cycle, are breathing with it. Each inhale you take isn't just air. It's the breath of billions of beings, of leaves, seas, clouds, and faraway mountains. Each exhale you release gives something back, to someone, somewhere, drawing in their next breath. So perhaps none of us ever truly breathe alone. We are all helping the universe stay alive. One breath, one pulse, one quiet, shared moment at a time. If you truly listen, you'll find everything around you has a rhythm. Mountains, trees, rivers, even drifting clouds. Each holds its own hidden frequency, its own quiet pulse. Scientists call this the Schumann resonance, the natural heartbeat of the Earth, echoing around the atmosphere like an invisible symphony. Its frequency, about 7.83 hertz, miraculously matches the alpha waves of the human brain, the state of calm, of gentle awareness. That means when you are peaceful, you're resonating with the Earth itself. And when you're restless, that rhythm wavers, as if the planet is softly trying to lull you back to balance. Maybe that's why being in nature slows your heart, deepens your breath, and clears your mind, because you're not just looking at the world, you're in tune with it. And in that harmony, you're no longer a person standing in the universe. You're a heartbeat within its vast, living heart. If you look closely at a morning beam, you'll notice light never stands still. It doesn't just travel, it breathes. Quantum physicists have shown that photons, the smallest particles of light, vibrate like heartbeats, expanding and contracting billions of times each second, just like your breath, inhaling to receive, exhaling to give. And when you sit still and let the light touch your skin, you're syncing with that rhythm. Your body absorbs its warmth, your mind opens, and your spirit moves in harmony with the pulse of the cosmos. You were never separate from the light. You simply forgot that you too shine. Every gentle thought, every act of kindness is a small ray sent outward, rippling through space to places you'll never see. And when the world sends its light back to you, you'll understand. We've always been breathing together through light itself. Tonight, if you look up long enough, you'll notice the stars don't just shine, they breathe. Each one is a vast heart, expanding and contracting through its nuclear rhythm. Astronomers call this stellar oscillation, the subtle pulse that makes a star's light flicker like a faraway breath. And astonishingly, some of those rhythms match the beat of the human heart. That means, in this quiet moment, somewhere out there, a star might be pulsing in time with you. Not as poetry, but as physics, as vibration, as connection. You inhale, the star exhales. You exhale, the universe inhales. And so the ancient music continues, without beginning, without end, only the eternal exchange of breath and light. In that harmony, you're no longer a person gazing at the night. You're a small, shining note, resonating in the great chorus of the stars. People often think that only light brings life, yet darkness has its own quiet kind of magic. In the deep night, as your senses rest, your body begins its most powerful repair. Neurons prune away unnecessary connections, the immune system strengthens, and melatonin, the light of the dark, flows through your bloodstream. Melatonin doesn't just help you sleep, it's an antioxidant, a DNA guardian, a calm for the heart. Biologists call this nocturnal repair, the restoration that happens only when you surrender fully to darkness. So sometimes, turning off every light isn't loneliness. It's permission for your body to be reborn. Darkness isn't an absence. It's an embrace, a soft blanket that lets your cells quietly mend the tears of the day. Let the dark hold you, because within its silence lies an ancient lullaby. One the universe still hums just for you. Without darkness, light would never know it shines. And without rest, the body would never understand renewal. In ancient Indian philosophy, it said the universe was born from Shiva and Shakti, the dance of stillness and motion, of dark and bright, of rest and life. They are not opposites, but partners, two halves of the same breath. When you allow yourself to fall into the night, you don't lose the light. You return to the other side of living. Modern psychology calls this restorative duality, the healing that comes from balancing movement and stillness. Like the heart, it contracts to give, then expands to receive. Without the pause between beats, life could not go on. Darkness works the same way. It's the soul's exhale. And when you stop fearing it, you'll finally hear the truth. The night isn't cold or empty. It's softly whispering, "Rest now." The light is already within you. Not every morning comes from the horizon. Some dawns begin right inside your chest. It's the moment you open your eyes and, instead of rushing, you simply breathe, deep and slow. The first light doesn't come from the sun, but from that gentle feeling inside, as if something heavy has been set down, leaving you clear again. Neuroscientists say that when you wake up in calm, your brain releases serotonin, the hormone of light, balancing mood and reawakening joy. And in that instant, you are truly reborn. Every morning, your body renews itself, new cells, new rhythms, new beginnings, not only in flesh, but in spirit. So don't look for dawn only in the sky. Find it in your first breath after deep rest. Because when you see the light within yourself, the whole world begins to shine with you. Some mornings, light doesn't rush in like a waterfall. It just brushes through the curtain like a hand waking you with kindness. As you lie still, it doesn't just shine. It listens. It listens to your heartbeat, your breath, and the fragments of your fading dream. Biophysicists have found that light carries not only energy but information. Each photon that touches your skin tells your cells, a new day has begun. In that moment, cortisol rises just a little, not to stress you, but to awaken you naturally. Like the sun itself, the light doesn't demand. It simply invites, "Wake up, life is waiting." And as you let it pass through your eyelids, spreading gently across your body, you might feel something miraculous, as if the universe knows your name. And every morning, it whispers it back to you in a language only your heart can understand. The sun above doesn't just light the world, it awakens the sun inside you. The light you see has traveled for millions of years, and in the moment it touches you, it transforms into life itself. Physicists say photons, particles of light, are ageless. They exist outside of time. That means the sunlight warming your skin this morning could be a gift from stars that died eons ago. And when your body absorbs it, it doesn't just warm you. It awakens an ancient memory within your cells. The knowing that you are part of the cosmos. Like the sun, you too can shine, not with fire, but with kindness, with the warmth of your eyes, with the way you make others breathe easier. When you live gently, you are glowing. You don't have to dazzle, only to be real, because the inner sun within you has never gone out. It's simply been waiting for you to turn toward it again. If you stay still long enough, you'll hear it. Light also speaks, not in words, but through soft vibrations that move like breath, flowing through your cells and awakening the rhythm of life within you. Biophysicists have found that when light touches the body, molecules begin to vibrate in unison, like a tiny orchestra inside, harmonizing with the cosmos. Those oscillations carry messages between cells, allowing them to speak through frequency instead of sound. Each photon is a message, small, invisible, yet carrying a whisper. Live, and your body listens. In that moment, every ache, every tired part of you begins to dissolve in the quiet symphony of existence, not loud, but deep. Light, it turns out, isn't just for seeing, it's for feeling, for remembering that you are still alive, still being called by the universe, in every delicate beam that touches your skin. When you're truly still, you'll realize sound and light were never separate. In the universe, both are waves. Both are patterns carrying the signature of life. Sound is light slowed down, and light is sound made transparent. Quantum physicists call this wave duality, when energy exists as both particle and wave at the same time. And somehow, the human being is where those two forms meet. Your heart beats to sound's rhythm, while your cells shimmer to light's pulse. When those rhythms align, when your breath is steady, your heart calm, your mind at peace, your body becomes a crystalline instrument resonating with the music of the cosmos. In that moment, you don't just hear the sound of the world, you are the sound. You don't just receive the light, you are the light, singing softly in perfect harmony between the inner and the infinite. Have you ever wondered, if the universe had a voice, what would it sound like? Astronomers have recorded the voices of distant planets, plasma waves, magnetic oscillations, the faint hum of cosmic background radiation. When translated into audible tones, they sound like breathing, slow, deep, and full. The wonder is, your body produces similar frequencies. Your heartbeat, blood flow, and neural currents, all of them sing the same song, the song of existence. Physicists call this harmonic resonance, when everything vibrates together in one shared field of energy. And when you are truly still, doing nothing at all, you can feel that music in your bones, your blood, your breath. You don't have to search for the universe's voice among the stars, because right now it is singing inside you. A song without words, carrying the tone of life itself, gentle, endless, and as familiar as your own heartbeat. At some point, when you stop trying to listen, stop trying to understand, everything becomes perfectly silent. And yet, within that silence, you feel something extraordinary, as if music is flowing through you, not from the outside, but from deep within. Physicists call this quantum coherence, the moment when every vibration in your body aligns, allowing energy to move freely, without conflict or resistance. In that state, you are no longer separate from the world. You are the world. You no longer hear the universe's song, you become it. All boundaries fade. You are no longer a body nor a thought, only a slow, gentle wave of warmth expanding through space. In that state, there is no you and the universe, only one vast life, singing through countless forms, one of which happens to be you. And when you realize this, no sound is needed anymore, because you are the soft, endless song of existence itself. After all the vibrations, the sound, and the light, only one thing remains: life itself, drifting softly like a wave returning to shore. There's nothing left to achieve, nothing left to hold. You simply lie there, breathing, letting your natural rhythm blend into the greater rhythm surrounding you. Physiologists call this homeostasis, a dynamic balance where the body, mind, and soul quietly sustain each other in harmony. It isn't stillness, but movement so gentle it feels like peace, like the ocean, always in motion, yet appearing to rest. In this state, everything becomes simple. The breath is enough, the light is enough, you are enough. There's no need to search for meaning, because meaning is already here. It's being alive. With each breath, you feel a warm wave spreading outward, from your chest to your hands to the space around you, as if the universe itself were breathing with you. Life, after all, was never a journey toward something. It's the tenderness of this moment, quietly smiling within you. Perhaps you've never noticed, but every breath you take is part of the universe's own breathing. When you inhale, you draw in air once forged by ancient stars. When you exhale, you return a piece of yourself to the sky. So life can continue its endless cycle. Cosmologists remind us every atom in the human body was once part of a star that exploded. That means, with every breath, fragments of supernovas flow through your lungs, your blood, your cells. You don't just live in the universe lives through you. And when you breathe out slowly, letting the air drift away like a river returning to the sea, you are helping the cosmos continue its quiet song. There is no longer a border between you and it, only one eternal exhale, where life and light dissolve into each other. Listen closely, and you'll feel it. The universe is exhaling, and you are its breath. In a moment of deep stillness, when the mind stops searching, you might remember something ancient, that you were not born of the earth, but of the stars. Astrophysicists tell us the human body is made of stardust, carbon from the cores of supernovas, iron from the hearts of dying stars, oxygen from the fire of young suns. Every atom in you once belonged to a star somewhere in the Milky Way. Which means the light in your eyes is the oldest light in the universe, finding its way home. When you look up at the night sky, you're not just gazing at the stars, you're looking at family. Billions of cosmic siblings burning, smiling, whispering to you, you still belong here. And when you breathe, speak, or laugh, those stars are heard again, through you. You are not lost in the vastness. You are proof that the universe dreams, becomes life, and learns to love in human form. You are a star that learned how to breathe, to feel, to cry, and to smile in the dark. There's a quiet miracle few ever notice. The light from dead stars is still traveling toward you. It crosses millions of years, through cold space and endless dark, to arrive in your eyes on an ordinary night. Astronomers call this light echo, the lingering voice of starlight, reminding us that nothing truly disappears. It just takes a little longer to reach where it belongs. It's the same with the old wounds in your heart. They don't vanish overnight, but slowly, new light finds them, warming what once hurt. Each time you choose to love again, to trust again, to live again, you're creating new light from the ashes of your inner stars. Don't fear the dark. It's where light was first born. And perhaps every time your heart beats, somewhere in the universe, a star flares again, whispering, "We're still shining together." Perhaps you've never thought of it this way, but every time your heart beats, it shines. Not with visible light, but with a soft biological glow. Tiny photons released by your cells as they create energy. Quantum biologists call this biophotonic emission, the subtle radiance of life itself. When you are calm, that light is steady and full, spreading evenly throughout your body. When you are anxious or sad, it flickers, like a candle caught in the wind. But when you learn to breathe deeply, to forgive, to be gentle with yourself, it clears and warms again, like dawn returning after a long night. In the dark, you never stop shining. You simply glow with a light the universe made only for you. Your heart, by its nature, is a small star. It contracts, expands, radiates, and keeps your inner world alive. So when you feel weak, remember, even now in silence, you are still shining. When your heart grows calm, its light doesn't stop there. It radiates outward, touching everyone you meet. A gentle word, a kind glance, a genuine smile. All are waves of energy carrying your heart's signature. Researchers at the HeartMath Institute have found that the electromagnetic field from a human heart can extend several feet beyond the body, subtly influencing the emotions of others nearby. That means, simply by being at peace, you soothe the space around you. When you breathe slowly, others unconsciously begin to breathe slower too. When you smile for real, the world softens just a little. Your light doesn't need to be dazzling to be seen, only genuine. Because sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for the world is to keep your heart lit. And that quiet light, wordless, colorless, yet deeply real, becomes the bridge between your soul and every other soul searching for peace. One day, you'll realize the world around you is a mirror reflecting the energy within you. When your heart is light, everything seems softer. When it's heavy, even the sunlight feels far away. It's not the world that changes, it's your frequency shifting. Quantum physicists call this field resonance, the phenomenon where your personal energy synchronizes with your surroundings, creating the sense that the world is responding. So when you radiate love, warmth begins to find its way back to you, not as magic, but as resonance, like two instruments vibrating together when one is played. Your heart works the same way. When you move with kindness, the universe answers with gentleness. And if someday life feels gray, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and remember, you are the first color the universe is waiting to see. You may not realize it, but every time you look at someone with gentleness, the universe is smiling through you. It's a smile without words or reason, yet it makes others feel lighter without knowing why. Neuroscientists call this mirror resonance, when another person's brain mirrors the positive emotion you project. The wonder is, you don't have to speak. Just be present, with the quiet kindness resting behind your gaze. In that moment, your eyes become a mirror of goodness, helping others remember the light within themselves. Like the sun never has to try to shine, your heart doesn't have to do anything to give warmth. It only needs to open, and the light will find its way out. Perhaps this is how the universe loves, not loudly, not dramatically, but by gently borrowing your eyes to smile at the world. There are kinds of love that need no words, no touch, no return. They simply exist. It's the way you breathe softly, thinking of someone, the way you smile for no reason, the way your heart melts over a small memory. Psychologists call this compassion resonance, the vibration of empathy, where loving energy expands without needing action. This kind of love is quiet, unforced, invisible, yet it nourishes the world. It heals without being seen, warms without a flame, and sometimes it doesn't reach outward at all, but turns inward, becoming the kindness you offer yourself. When you stop blaming, stop pushing, when you allow yourself simply to be, that too is love. True love, it turns out, isn't about holding on. It's about letting go in peace, allowing life to sing its gentle song freely within your heart. There's a kind of light that doesn't come from the sun and doesn't fade when night falls, the light of love. It lives in small things, the gentle touch of a hand, a sincere question, or simply your calm presence beside someone who needs comfort. Neuroscientists say that when we act with kindness, the brain releases oxytocin, a hormone that makes the heart feel connected, the body safe. But the most beautiful part is this, that light doesn't only shine outward. When you love, you're also lighting yourself from within. It melts fear, soothes the darker corners of memory, and opens the chambers of the heart that once closed in silence. It doesn't need to be brilliant, only true, because every honest light finds its way through storms, through sorrow, through sleep. When you love in stillness, your love doesn't fade. It becomes an invisible radiance, passing quietly from your heart into the hearts of those you've touched. There will be days when someone comes to you and says nothing. They just sit near, breathe with you, and somehow that's enough. Not because you're wise or strong, but because you are calm. Psychologists call this co-regulation, when two nervous systems synchronize, and one person's stillness helps the other settle. It's like two hearts slowing down together, two breaths finding the same rhythm, two souls stepping out of the storm. When your heart stays soft, you become a shelter, a small field of light amid the noise of the world. You don't need to fix anyone. Just be present, fully, gently, truthfully. That presence itself is medicine. And sometimes, in the safety of your quietness, someone remembers their own forgotten light, the one that's been waiting to shine again. In that way, you are not only a bringer of peace, but a mirror, helping others rediscover the peace that was already theirs. Science has shown that when a person enters deep stillness, their brainwaves shift from busy beta to calm alpha, then to slow-flowing theta. What's astonishing is that people nearby begin to change too. No words, no touch, just presence. Yet the body listens, responds, as if the air itself carries an unseen rhythm linking hearts, breaths, and weary cells together. Neuroscientists call this phenomenon entrainment, when the steady, peaceful waves of one being subtly tune the waves of another. And when you are truly calm, you become such a frequency, radiating without trying, reaching those who simply pass by. No one can see stillness, but they can feel it, like a gentle wind, like sunlight, like warmth without a name. The world is crowded with fast signals, but when one person holds a slower rhythm, that wave spreads, helping lost minds and restless hearts find their original pulse again. Perhaps this is how peace travels, not through words, not through effort, but through frequency. And sometimes, by simply sitting quietly, you begin to heal the world. Have you ever noticed that when you slow your breath, the person across from you begins to breathe more softly too? They don't mean to. It's simply how humans are wired. Mirror neurons in the brain copy rhythm, expression, and even the state of another person without conscious effort. When you're calm, others feel safe. When you're rushed, the air around you tightens. A single deep breath, steady and honest, can soothe more than 1,000 comforting words. In meditation studies, researchers found that when a person breathes about 6 times per minute, their heart and brain enter coherence, a state of harmony measurable as an electromagnetic wave radiating meters beyond the body. That means your calm doesn't stay inside you. It ripples outward, gently reaching even those who don't know your name. You don't need to teach anyone how to breathe. Just breathe, slowly, deeply, truthfully. Because every peaceful breath whispers a quiet message. It's okay now. You can rest. And somehow, the world begins to breathe with you. There are moments when words are too small for what the heart wants to say. In those moments, silence speaks, not with sound, but with presence. Have you ever sat beside someone and said nothing yet understood everything? That is the oldest human language, what scientists call resonance communication, the art of feeling instead of speaking. No words, just energy. No explanations, only empathy. In deep silence, the subtle waves of emotion become clearer. You can hear another's sadness, feel your own comfort rising quietly to meet it. Silence isn't empty. It's filled with the softest music, the pulse of blood, the rhythm of the heart, the smile of the soul without lips. When you allow yourself to rest inside that silence, you touch a kind of wisdom beyond thought, where hearts speak through breath, gaze, and the gentle spaces between words. You no longer need to explain or prove anything. Your presence is the answer. Because sometimes, what another person needs most isn't advice. It's a heart that can hear the things they cannot yet say. When you are truly at peace, it doesn't stay inside. It radiates through every gesture, every glance, every breath. Others may not understand why they feel safe around you, but their bodies do. They sense a gentle energy spreading quietly, not loud, not blinding, just a soft light that makes them want to linger a little longer. Physicists call this biophotons, tiny particles of light emitted by living cells when the body is balanced and whole. Meditation teachers describe it differently. When the mind is calm, the body glows. 2 languages, 1 truth, the light of serenity. When you no longer need to prove or defend yourself, that light simply appears, like a candle that doesn't try to burn, yet softly illuminates the room. The world has no shortage of brilliance, but it deeply lacks peace. And sometimes, your quietness, your gentle, steady light, is the most beautiful thing the world needs to see today. There's a kind of tiredness that doesn't come from work. It comes from always having to stand guard inside yourself, always defending, controlling, pretending to be strong. But one day, your heart learns to sit down. It no longer cares to argue or prove. It simply breathes, watches life drift by like a slow-moving river. Physiologists call this the rest and digest state. When the parasympathetic system awakens, the body stops bracing and begins to heal. Spiritual teachers call it letting go. When your heart sits down, everything inside slows with it. The breath deepens, the gaze softens, the voice warms. You realize not every battle needs to be won. Some just need to be understood, then released. And somehow, when your heart finally rests, the world within you opens like a garden after rain, spacious, gentle, alive, and at peace. People often think strength is a loud voice, endurance, or the ability to hold back tears while in pain. But true strength is when you can stay gentle, even when the world isn't gentle with you. When you can choose silence over reaction. When you can forgive without being asked. When you can smile while still carrying your scars. Neuroscientists say that the calmer a person is, the more active the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for reason and compassion. That means peace isn't weakness. It's emotional mastery. It's the art of calming the waves before they become a storm. The courage to keep light alive in the heart, no matter how strong the wind blows. And then you realize the strongest people aren't the ones who do the most, but the ones who aren't pulled away by everything. They can sit in chaos and still hear the birds, stand in the storm and still keep their breath steady. That is the quiet power of someone who has made peace with themselves. Since childhood, we've been taught to fight, to endure, to overcome, but few ever teach us the art of not resisting, of moving with life instead of against it. Some things hurt more the harder we cling, like trying to hold water in your fist. the tighter you grip, the more you lose. But when you release, when you allow the current to carry away what must go and keep what must stay, you suddenly feel lighter. Not because you've lost, but because you've stopped fighting what was never meant to be yours. Evolutionary biologists call this adaptive flow, a state where body, mind, and circumstance move in harmony as one living stream. It's no longer me versus the world, but me moving with the world. Then everything ceases to be an obstacle. It becomes a wave, lifting you, carrying you further. And you realize the greatest strength isn't in standing firm, but in being able to dissolve, like water, like light, like breath. Not resisting, not fleeing, simply being within life, yet never lost in it. All your life, you've been trying to become something smarter, kinder, stronger, more loved. But one day, amid all that striving, you grow tired, not because you've failed, but because you've never really been yourself. And when you finally stop running, something beautiful happens. You start to feel enough. Not enough because you've achieved, but because you've remembered. You've always been a perfect piece of something greater, long before you tried to change. Psychologists call this self-acceptance, not surrender, but reconciliation. When you stop judging yourself, you stop judging others. When you see yourself as lovable despite imperfection, the whole world softens around you. You no longer seek roles to play or masks to wear. You simply exist, raw, gentle, real. And from that moment, healing begins. Because at last, you've come home to the truest place of all, where you don't have to become anyone. You just have to be. Outside, the moon rises higher. Its silver light drifts through the window and touches your skin, and something strange happens. You feel the moon merging with your blood. Not cold, not distant, but soft, gentle, spreading through each tiny vein like a lullaby. Chronobiologists say that the human body has its own rhythm, subtly responding to the phases of the moon, shaping sleep, hormones, even emotions. Perhaps that's why moonlit nights always feel both awake and dreamlike. The moon doesn't just illuminate the outer world, it awakens a quiet glow within, a place where memories and emotions meet, where the soul remembers it belongs to the cosmos. And as you lie still beneath its light, your heartbeat slows, listening to something ancient. The breath of the ocean, the song of the stars, or perhaps the whisper of yourself, flowing through time. You realize the moon doesn't only shine upon the night sky, it also shines upon the stillness within you, the part that keeps glowing. Even when unseen, the human body is more than 70% water, and water, in its quiet way, always listens to the moon. When the moon is full, the oceans rise, and within you, tiny tides begin to move. When the moon wanes, your inner waters calm, as if your soul itself follows a lunar rhythm. Physicists call it gravity, but those who truly listen know it's a symphony, where water, moon, and heart hum the same frequency. When you sip a glass of water beneath moonlight, pause for a moment. Feel its coolness traveling down your throat into your chest, as if light itself is dissolving inside you. Perhaps that's why people find peace in watching the moon's reflection on water, because deep within our cellular memory, we know we were never separate from it. The moon isn't just above you, it lives in your blood, in your tears, in the dew that rests on your eyelashes at dawn. And every time you breathe in slowly, you invite the universe to flow through you, as gently as moonlight on a still sea. Inside you, billions of water molecules are always moving, swirling, vibrating, reflecting the ancient light of life itself. But just like the sea beyond, they too need moments of stillness. Biologists call it homeostasis, when every system finds its natural balance, no longer needing to hold or to force. Like the ocean after a storm, the waves of emotion, anxiety, longing, restlessness, finally begin to settle. You start to feel the warmth of your heartbeat, the slowing rhythm of your breath, your body gently wrapped in its own quiet. The ocean within you, once stirred by memories, desires, and loss, is now calm. Not because the pain is gone, but because it has learned to flow without resistance. In that moment, every cell exhales, every part of you smiles softly, and if you close your eyes, you might hear a faint tide within your heart, so quiet that only true stillness can reveal it. You never had to search for peace. Peace is simply the moment when the ocean inside you learns to rest. If you gaze at the moon long enough, you'll notice it doesn't do anything. It doesn't shine on its own, doesn't rush, doesn't compete. It simply is. Yet in that stillness it moves oceans, guides tides, and shapes the rhythm of life on Earth. Astrophysicists call it the gravitational resonance effect, the moon's gentle pull that quietly makes an entire planet breathe in sync. Perhaps peace works the same way. You don't need to try hard to make an impact. You just need to be deeply, honestly present. The moon never fights for the sun's light, yet every night, the world turns its gaze toward her, not because she's brilliant, but because she's still. Within that stillness lies a subtle kind of power, one that doesn't demand attention. It simply radiates truth. And when you learn to be still like the moon, not reacting, not chasing, you too begin to move the world in the gentlest way possible, through your presence alone. Tonight, as you lie still, a quiet conversation unfolds between the moon above and the water within your body. Each time the moonlight shifts, your inner tides whisper back. When the moon is full, your heartbeat grows stronger. When it wanes, your breath deepens and slows. Chronobiologists call this the lunar biological cycle, an ancient rhythm the entire planet has carried since its beginning. Under moonlight, the body enters a state of natural restoration. Cells renew, hormones balance, the brain sorts memories and dreams. Perhaps that's why the ancients said, to sleep under the moon is to rest in the arms of the earth and sky. In that moment, you are no longer separate, but part of the universe's slow, eternal breath. And as you drift into sleep, the moon continues to speak, through light, not words, through rhythm, not thought. If you listen deeply, you might feel it. Every sleep is a quiet meeting between you and the cosmos, where the moon shines softly, and the water within you smiles in return. Some nights, you dream of walking along the shore, where silver waves shimmer like 1,000 broken mirrors. Yet you don't feel fear, you feel peace, because in that dream, the moon isn't above you. It walks beside you, flowing through your breath, glinting in your hair, even touching the memories daylight forgot. Neuroscientists say that during deep sleep, the brain enters REM, a stage where dreams and memory intertwine, and light, even as a symbol, can awaken the deepest emotional circuits. But perhaps the ancients knew this long before science. They said the moon is a mirror of the soul, reflecting what the heart dares not speak. So when the moon appears in your dream, you aren't just dreaming. You're in quiet conversation with your truest self, the part of you that isn't rushed or afraid or broken, the part that simply wants you to remember you are still beautiful, even in darkness, for the moon never tries to shine. It only reflects the light that has always been within you. We often think of sleep as darkness, the closing of the world, the quiet fading of the senses. But in truth, sleep is a kind of light, an inner radiance that shines only when every outer lamp goes out. Neuroscientists say that during deep sleep, the brain releases delta waves, slow, round, and soft, like circles of moonlight unfolding in the night. It's in those moments that cells repair, the body heals, and the mind lets go of the fragments it no longer needs. Sleep isn't just rest, it's a return. A return to the purity we lose in the noise of the day. And if you've ever awakened from deep sleep and felt the world somehow gentler, it's because your soul was washed in the invisible light of peace. Perhaps that's why the ancients said every morning is a rebirth. For through the night as you sleep, the universe cradles you, wrapping you in a light unseen, the quiet light of renewal, the light of life itself. Your body is a delicate laboratory where millions of microscopic reactions unfold while you sleep. As consciousness drifts away, life continues its quiet work. Cells repair damaged DNA, tissues regenerate, the immune system strengthens, and the brain clears out the debris of memory accumulated through the day. Scientists call this the glymphatic system, the brain's cleaning network, which becomes most active during deep sleep. It's like tiny rivers flowing through the folds of your mind, carrying away fatigue, anxiety, and all that you no longer need to carry into tomorrow. Isn't it miraculous that you don't have to do anything, you just rest, and the universe within you begins to heal itself? Sleep is the quietest doctor, the simplest miracle ever given to humankind. And every time you fall asleep, you are reborn, not with noise or brilliance, but with steady breath and a gentle heartbeat. In that stillness, life continues, not outside of you, but deep within every living cell of your being. While you sleep, something almost sacred happens. Your body and your soul finally fall back into rhythm after a long day apart. By day, your body tires from doing, your soul from thinking. One moves outward. The other longs to come home, but in sleep, they meet again, wordless, shapeless, breathing together in one slow, round, and steady rhythm. Sleep scientists call it physiological synchronization, the moment when heartbeat, breath, and brainwaves align in perfect harmony. But in the language of silence, it's simply called coming home. All boundaries dissolve between body and spirit, consciousness and dream, you and the universe. Your body stops being flesh and becomes rhythm. Your soul stops wandering and becomes breath. In that moment, you no longer sleep to rest. You sleep to reunite. And true peace is not found in the dream. It's in that quiet instant when you and life breathe as one. If you lie still long enough, doing nothing, saying nothing, you'll begin to hear something small, something row. Not the wind, not the heartbeat, but the quiet sound of life unfolding inside you. It's the whisper of blood flowing through your veins, the hum of cells dividing, the soft sigh of air sliding down your throat and blooming inside your lungs. Biologists call it the biological rhythm, the background music of existence, playing endlessly whether you're awake or asleep. And when you notice it, you realize you were never truly alone. Even in perfect silence, billions of tiny lives within you are singing the same song of being. They don't need your command or control. They just need your stillness. Because in stillness, the body knows how to function, the heart knows how to heal, and the soul finds its original rhythm again. Peace, it turns out, isn't the absence of sound. It's the moment you're quiet enough to hear the purest melody of all, the music of life itself playing inside you. There's a secret physicists once whispered, within every particle lies the whole universe. If that's true, then in every heartbeat, every breath, every trembling wave within you, a universe is unfolding. Each inhale ignites billions of cells like tiny stars awakening. Each exhale releases carbon back into the world, into the trees, the oceans, the sky. You are not apart from the cosmos. You are part of its endless exchange. Every pulse, every living rhythm in you mirrors the vast movements above. Planets spinning, stars exploding, galaxies expanding. Biologists call this fractal harmony, the geometric resonance between the micro and the macro, between the human body and the boundless universe. And when you realize this, you stop seeing yourself as small, because within you flows not just blood and breath, but starlight, wind, ocean, and the ancient glow of time itself. You are not a being living in the universe. You are a universe, breathing in human form. You may think your heart beats only within your chest, but in truth, it sends out waves, electromagnetic ripples that extend several feet beyond your body, and the universe is always listening. Biophysicists have found that each heartbeat emits its own field of energy, carrying traces of emotion. When you're anxious, the field distorts. When you're calm, it becomes smooth and circular, like still water under moonlight. So every time you love, forgive, or simply take a deep breath, the universe receives that signal, a gentle whisper rising through space. Some meditation masters say, when your heart is still, it beats in sync with the stars. It sounds poetic, yet perhaps it's true, for in that moment of stillness, the waves within you and the waves of the cosmos slow into one shared rhythm. And maybe that's when the smallest miracles unfold, when the universe hears your heartbeat and answers back softly by letting the world bloom around you. At some point, you stop feeling like you're watching the universe and realize you are the universe watching itself. The boundary between inside and outside dissolves. Between me and everything, there is no line. As you inhale, the stars seem to glow a little brighter. As you exhale, the clouds drift away to make room for the moon. Quantum physicists once said, "The observer and the observed are never truly separate." You don't just live in the universe. You help create it, moment by moment, through the frequency of your own awareness. Every thought, every feeling, every heartbeat is a gentle touch on the fabric of reality, causing the cosmic waves to ripple in your rhythm. And when you are calm, when your heart slows, when all striving fades, the universe falls silent too, as if waiting for you to speak first. You stop searching for meaning, because you are meaning. A single pulse within the infinite heart of creation, resonating in a language only still souls can hear. Have you ever looked up at the night sky and felt as if the stars were answering you? Not with words, not with sound, but in a language so ancient, only the quiet-hearted can hear it. It doesn't say, "Try harder," nor does it promise everything will be fine. It simply hums endlessly, "You are here," and that is enough. Astronomers remind us that the light from the farthest stars travels millions of years before reaching our eyes, which means every time you look up, you are touching the universe's past and leaving a trace of your present within it. Thus, between you and the stars exists a silent conversation, one where nothing is spoken, yet everything is understood. When you are still, the universe listens. When you listen, the universe responds. In some mysterious way, your stillness becomes a form of light, a pure signal drifting through space, quietly saying, "You are not small. You are a single note in the eternal symphony of being." There's a strange moment when you look up at a sky full of stars and realize you're not just seeing the light is seeing you. Those photons began their journey millions of years ago, and now they're touching your eyes. A quiet meeting between you and the cosmos. No words, no form, just a beam of wandering light finally finding a place to rest. Physicists say light never truly disappears. It only changes form, changes direction, changes how it exists. Perhaps you are the same, never lost, only transforming, only learning new ways to shine. When you grow still, that light within you becomes clearer, not the kind seen by the eyes, but felt by the soul, the light that tells you you're alive, breathing, belonging. The universe isn't far away. It's mirrored in your cells, your breath, your tears. And when you look up and see a single star shimmering, remember, it might be smiling back, recognizing the same light it once sent, now glowing inside you. There are nights when the world around you falls into darkness, and you suddenly understand. Darkness isn't the opposite of light. It's simply where light rests. You once thought yourself small, fragile, but look closer. Every cell in your body emits a faint glow. Scientists call it biophoton emission, the light of life itself. It means you're shining, even when you don't realize it. When your heart is warm, when your thoughts are kind, when you touch someone gently with compassion, that inner light grows stronger, reaching farther, even if no one can see it. Maybe that's why being near a peaceful person feels like standing near a fire. Not because they do something, but because they are light, and so are you. You don't need to blaze like the sun, just glow like a candle in the night. Small, but enough to help someone find their way. One day, you'll understand. You never lost your light. You just forgot how to notice that you've been shining all along. Forgiveness isn't forgetting, nor pretending that nothing ever happened. It's when the light within you grows strong enough that the shadows of the past can no longer dim it. Neuroscientists have found that when we truly forgive, activity in the amygdala, the brain's center for fear and anger, decreases, while the prefrontal cortex, linked to compassion, lights up. In other words, every act of forgiveness literally makes your brain brighter. And in that same moment, your heart feels lighter. Not because the pain is gone, but because you no longer carry it as your identity. Forgiveness isn't setting someone else free. It's releasing yourself from the darkness that once held you. The light in you is already enough. It knows how to pass through the shadows without needing to hide. Some wounds don't need to vanish. They just need to be seen with gentle light. And like moonlight over still water, the pain remains, but it becomes peaceful. There comes a point in every soul's journey when you stop shining to be seen and start shining simply to be. In the beginning, you try so hard to be noticed, to be loved, to be told you are enough. But the farther you go, the clearer it becomes. True light needs no audience. It doesn't shout. It doesn't compete. It doesn't beg for recognition. It just exists, like dawn after the long night, inevitable and quiet. Physicists remind us that light never fights darkness. It merely arrives, and darkness dissolves. In the same way, those who have found peace no longer need to prove they're right, strong, or worthy of love. They simply live, and in that quiet living, their presence spreads outward like fragrance, like the gentle pulse of the cosmos. Your inner light is the same. It doesn't need applause. It only asks for your trust, your stillness, your permission to be. For in the end, what makes you beautiful is not how brightly you shine, but how effortlessly you do, even when no one is watching. Light isn't always radiant. Some days it flickers like a candle in the wind. Some nights, it's nothing more than a thin line glowing quietly inside your chest. But it never goes out. We often believe that peace means escaping the dark. But in truth, only when you dare to stay, to face the fear, the loneliness, the pain, does your light begin to mature. Psychologists call this integration, the process of embracing your shadow, so you no longer have to run from it. And then you see, darkness isn't an enemy. It's the soil where light takes root. Just as night gives birth to dawn, and seeds can only sprout when buried in moist, unseen earth. When you sit quietly within your own darkness, you don't lose your light. You teach it how to deepen, how to warm, how to become real. And when that light finally steps out of the night, it no longer blinds. It understands. It comforts. It stays. Even when the world around is still dark, there will come a time in your life when you stop fearing the dark. Not because you've grown stronger, but because you finally understand. Darkness was never here to hurt you. It was here to help you see your own light. Darkness is the pause after a long day, the arm that wraps you so your soul can rest, the soft curtain that quiets your pain. Neuroscientists say that in the absence of light, your brain releases melatonin, the hormone of restoration, calm, and healing. The universe made darkness not to hide you, but to heal you. And perhaps life does the same. The murky seasons aren't punishments. They are cocoons for your becoming. Darkness is that loyal friend who says nothing, gives no advice, yet sits beside you until you're ready to see the light again. So when you find yourself lost in the night, don't rush to escape it. Sit down, breathe. Let the darkness hold you. Because maybe, in that quiet embrace, you're already being healed without even knowing it. There's a strange moment, one most people never notice, when the world stops being something to see and becomes something to hear. In that stillness, light doesn't just shine, it hums. You can hear the leaves catching it, the dust spinning gently within a sunbeam, and even yourself, your soul softly resonating with the pulse of life. Optical physicists have described how photons, the particles of light, carry a subtle vibration that could, in theory, be translated into sound if one were sensitive enough to perceive it. But the heart doesn't need equations. It only needs stillness. Because when you're quiet enough, you begin to hear what the noise of life hides, the song of existence itself. Not loud, not grand, just a tender melody the universe plays through every beam of sunlight, every breath, every unhurried blink. And in that moment, you understand. Everything around you, the trees, the water, the wind, the light, is singing the same song, the song of life. the song of light, the song of coming home. Maybe you've been afraid of the dark, because in it, you can't see the path, the faces, or even yourself. But one quiet night, if you're still enough, you'll realize darkness can smile too. It doesn't come to hide the light. It comes to let the light rest. When the sun falls asleep, the ocean stops shimmering, the leaves stop reflecting, and everything returns to its quiet, original self. Biologists once said that many plants breathe deeply only at night. When darkness arrives, they open tiny pores on their leaves to exchange air, to heal, and humans too. When the light goes out, the body begins to restore itself. Brain cells clear waste, the heart slows, and the breath flows evenly like a lullaby. Darkness, it turns out, isn't the enemy of light. It's the gentle hand that holds it. If you listen closely, you'll hear it. The night has its own rhythm. It's the rhythm of the universe resting, of your heart softly closing the day. And when darkness smiles, the world smiles back. Not with a visible grin, but with the quiet peace that fills your chest. In the deepest part of the night, have you ever noticed that darkness isn't entirely black? If you look closely, you'll see faint traces of light, thin as the breath of a fading flame. That's the leftover glow in the heart of the night. Physicists call it residual light, wandering photons that linger after their source has gone. But if you look with your heart, you'll know that not only the sun creates light, darkness, too, knows how to keep a little warmth from the day, just as humans keep the memory of what they once loved. That's why the night is never truly cold. Deep within it, small sparks remain, enough for the soul to find its way back to sleep. They say that even when your eyes are closed, your retina still captures the final traces of light. That's why you sometimes see tiny glimmers dancing behind your eyelids, like a private universe just for you. Perhaps that's how light chooses to stay, not out there, but within you. And as you drift into sleep, darkness is no longer lonely. For within its heart, light is resting too, dreaming beside you. Have you ever noticed that every night we perform an ancient ritual? We close our eyes and trust that the morning will come. No one truly knows if the sun will rise again, yet we still lie down, still sleep, still let our minds dissolve into that vast unknown. That is the purest kind of faith a human can have, to trust what cannot be seen. Neuroscientists say that during deep sleep, the brain releases control almost entirely, allowing the body to regulate, restore, and heal itself. It means that in darkness, we surrender, and that's exactly when the miracle begins. As if the universe can only touch us when we finally stop trying. And maybe that's why darkness is gentler than we think. It doesn't come to frighten us. It comes to teach us how to let go, to show us that even when we can't see the way, we're still on the right path. Because beneath that thick veil of black, billions of cells are still working, billions of stars are still burning quietly. Darkness isn't empty. It's simply the way life hides itself to begin again. There's a moment in the night when you can't quite tell whether you're asleep or awake. You just know that everything around you feels soft, distant, and close all at once. That's when the universe holds you, not with hands, not with words, but with an invisible blanket woven from the breath of the wind, the heartbeat of the earth, and the stray light of distant stars. Quantum physicists say that at the subatomic level, there's no real separation between particles. everything is connected through a shared field of energy. It means that when you breathe in, a part of that breath may once have belonged to a star that died millions of years ago. The universe isn't out there. It's in your lungs, your blood, your every heartbeat. Night, then, is no longer the border between light and darkness. It's the meeting point of all existence, where humans, trees, and stars pause together to breathe as one. And as you lie still in that quiet rhythm, the universe gently wraps its arms around you, whispering, "You're not lost. You're coming home." There are nights when you hear nothing, no wind, no cars, not even the sound of your own heart. But if you stay long enough within that stillness, you'll realize silence isn't empty. It's so full that only the soul can hear it. Every quiet space holds thousands of tiny frequencies, the subtle vibrations of the world readjusting itself toward balance. Astronomers once detected a faint background noise between galaxies, a signal so weak it was nearly nothing. And yet, that whisper proved the universe is still breathing, softly, deeply, endlessly. In perfect stillness, humans can hear that same breath echoing within themselves. Silence doesn't come to make us lonely. It comes to remind us we belong to something vast. It's the first language of existence, before sound, before light. And only when we become truly quiet does it begin to speak, by slowing our pulse and calming our mind. In that moment, you no longer hear the silence, you hear yourself. A part of the universe speaking gently, saying, "All is well. Be still, and we will keep breathing together." The night has reached its quiet midpoint. Everything seems to slow down, and even your breath begins to take shape, to shimmer. If you pay close attention, you can feel it. Every inhale sending a fine thread of light through your body. Not the light from outside, but the inner glow scientists call biophotons, faint emissions created by your cells as they transform energy, invisible to the eye, but radiant enough to map the pattern of your life. Your body, in truth, is a miniature galaxy, each cell a star, and when you breathe deeply, they all light up together, softly, rhythmically, beautifully. It's the moment you are not just alive, but luminous from within. And as you exhale, that light spreads outward, dissolving into the dark, as if you're sending a quiet pulse of energy back to the cosmos. No one can see it, but it's felt. The air around you grows warmer, calmer, kinder, because your breath itself is helping the universe stay bright. When you understand this, you'll never feel small again. You are part of the endless source of light. Your breathing joined to the rhythm of stars, of sky, of night. And in that still moment, life and light are no longer two things. They are one and the same. There are nights when, if you stay still long enough, your body begins to lose its edges. It's as if your skin melts into the air, and your blood begins to flow in rhythm with the moonlight. Everything feels translucent, shimmering, drifting. Biologists have discovered that the water within the human body, more than 70% of our being, can actually absorb and reflect moonlight. Under that soft, silver glow, the molecular structure of water shifts, becoming more harmonious, like notes aligning in perfect tune. Maybe that's why, on full moon nights, our feelings swell for no clear reason. Because inside us, the water is singing with the moon. If you close your eyes and imagine your body as a river, you can feel that light flowing through your veins. It passes through your heart, where the moon touches your inner earth, through your lungs, where breath meets the wind, and through every cell where the light pauses, folding itself gently like dew resting on a leaf. In that moment, you're no longer the one gazing at the moon. You are the light itself, flowing through the night. No longer separate, no longer searching, only the quiet merging of body and cosmos, of you and everything. When you lie perfectly still in the night, something strange begins to happen. Your heart starts to remember its true rhythm, no longer beating to the noise of the world, no longer rushing for the thoughts of the day. It returns to a slow, steady pace, like footsteps sinking softly into sand, walking toward a dawn that hasn't yet arrived. Physiologists call it heart coherence, the state when the heart, brain, and breath fall into perfect rhythm. In that moment, the body stops fighting and begins to heal. Stress hormones fade, brainwaves slow, and every cell seems to fall asleep to the pulse of your own heart. The heart no longer just pumps blood, it circulates stillness. If you listen closely, you'll sense that rhythm isn't confined to your chest. It reaches outward, touching the air, the moonlight, the silent stars above. It's as if the entire universe is breathing with you, slowly, gently, patiently. Your heart, then, becomes a compass, not to find where you're going, but to remind you that you're already where you need to be. Not ahead, not behind, but right here, within this beat, this breath, this tender and peaceful night. Maybe you've never thought of it this way. Sleep isn't a shutdown, it's a doorway. A door so gentle it only opens when you stop resisting, stop holding on, stop trying to understand. When you cross it, you don't disappear. You return to a deeper version of yourself. Neuroscientists have found that during sleep, the brain doesn't turn off at all. Instead, it organizes memories, untangles emotions, and builds new connections, like a quiet gardener tending to a moonlit garden after the rain. Sleep, then, isn't the darkness of consciousness. It's light, folding back into itself. When you drift into dreams, the deepest parts of your mind awaken, where there is no you and the world, only colors, shapes, and echoes floating and dissolving. Theoretical physicists say energy never dies. It merely changes form. Perhaps sleep is the same, not an end, but a transformation of awareness, so that when morning comes you rise a little clearer, a little lighter, a little more at peace. So don't be afraid to close your eyes. The darkness you see isn't the end of light. It's where light is reborn. And sleep, truly, is just the way the universe carries you home. In the deep of night, when consciousness dissolves into stillness, dreams begin. Many think dreams are just imagination, fragments of memory scattered in the dark. But perhaps dreams don't come from us, they come through us. They are how the universe speaks, using symbols, colors, and movement instead of words. Scientists have found that during REM sleep, when our eyes move rapidly under closed lids, the brain is as active as when awake. In fact, regions linked to emotion and creativity shine even brighter, as if the mind is tuning into a deeper layer of reality. Dreams, then, aren't illusions. They are a softer dimension, where the physical and the spiritual quietly touch. Some dreams flow like rivers, passing gently through memory. Some blow like wind, carrying a thought never spoken before. And some are pure silence, no form, no sound, only the sense of being held by something invisible, yet deeply familiar. Maybe, when you dream, you're not the traveler. The universe is. It comes to visit, to sit beside you, and to tell its own story in your voice. a voice so quiet, yet enough to make you wake with peace you can't explain. Perhaps you felt it, that strange sensation in a dream when you begin to fly. No wings, no destination, just movement. Weightless, free, like a thought slipping from your eyelashes. That feeling isn't imagination, it's memory. A deep memory of the soul when it remembers how to be free. Dream researchers call it lucid dreaming, when you become aware you're dreaming and can guide the journey. But deeper still, there are dreams where you don't guide anything, because the universe carries you. You drift past frozen galaxies, where light moves like slow rivers, and you understand there is no out there or within, only one ocean of light where all souls swim together. Physicists say that every photon ever released by ancient stars is still traveling through space, and perhaps in dreams we brush against one of them. A particle of light that left another sun 1 billion years ago, now passing gently through your heart. The universe whispering hello to itself. In that moment, you are no longer the small human sleeping on Earth. You are the current of light drifting among the stars, limitless, formless, timeless. And within that infinite silence, you realize you were never truly alone. Because in that sea of light, every soul is finding its way home together. There's a fragile moment, if you ever notice, when your breath aligns with the breath of the universe. You can't tell who's inhaling or exhaling anymore. Only the gentle warmth moving past your lips, dissolving into space, and somewhere far away, a breeze returns, as if in reply. Astronomers say the universe isn't still, it's expanding, exhaling every second. Each galaxy drifts slightly farther apart, like a great cosmic chest rising in the dark. And maybe, as you sleep, your body unconsciously synchronizes with that rhythm. The vast breath of existence itself. Every inhale draws in a piece of the cosmos. Every exhale sends life back into the space around you. Neuroscientists have also found that during deep sleep, human breathing can synchronize with the Earth's magnetic oscillations, as if the planet is gently rocking you to rest with its own heartbeat. The universe, in its quiet way, is breathing with you. And when you realize this, sleep no longer feels lonely. Because in each of your breaths echo the stars, the clouds, the soil, and eternity itself. The universe isn't far away. It's moving within every peaceful rise and fall of your chest, softly breathing, softly singing, softly loving. There are nights when you can feel time stop. The clock still ticks, but everything melts. No minutes, no hours, only the steady rhythm of your breath in the now. That's the rare moment when time itself closes its eyes. Physicists say that without observation, the notions of before and after barely exist. Time only takes shape when something watches, remembers, or measures. But in sleep, when awareness releases and the mind stops counting, time returns to its true nature, a quiet river without beginning or end. That's why sometimes a short nap feels like years, and a long night feels like an instant. Because time isn't measured by clocks. It's measured by the stillness of your heart. When you are deeply at peace, the current of time softens, rests. It no longer carries you away. It curls beside you like a small cat asleep on the porch. And perhaps in that moment you touch eternity. Not the forever of space, but the now that needs no measurement. Even time must rest. Even time needs to be held. And at night, when you are still, you become the place where time comes home to sleep. Just before the first light touches the horizon, there's a moment when night and day blend together, not as a boundary, but as a gentle embrace between two worlds. The air smells different then, part wind, part the breath of a sun still asleep. It's the moment when the universe exhales softly, a long, loving sigh after a deep dream. Biologists call this time the blue hour, when the faintest shade of blue covers everything and the edges of the world grow tender. The human body responds too. Cortisol begins to rise, awakening awareness, while serotonin and melatonin still linger, keeping you half in dreams, half in life. You're not fully awake, but not asleep either, standing between two shores of existence. If you open your eyes then, you'll see the world holding its breath, grass still wet, dew unfallen, birds not yet singing. Everything is waiting. And in that waiting, there's something sacred, as if the earth is still dreaming one last dream before it wakes. Perhaps dawn isn't a beginning, but the final scene of the night's story, the moment when light returns from within. So if you wake early, don't rush. Just stay still and listen. Dawn is breathing too, dreaming too, turning slowly, just like you. And in that quiet instant, you and the world awaken together, softly whispering, everything begins again, in peace. When the sun begins to rise, there's a kind of light unlike any other. Not bright, not harsh, but warm, like a hand gently resting on your forehead. It's the first light of morning, yet also the last whisper of night. It doesn't come to wake you, but to stroke the dream still lingering within you. Psychologists say that in the first few minutes after waking, the brain still hums with theta waves, the frequency of dreams and creativity. That's why, when the early light slips through the curtains, you might recall a faint image, a feeling, or a face from somewhere far within your sleep. Those fragments are like golden dust. If you don't hold them, they drift away. But perhaps they don't vanish at all. They simply become light, blending into your breath, your skin, your gaze. Every morning, your dream from the night before still walks beside you, transformed into gentle energy that helps you move through the day. So if tomorrow you wake and feel an unusual calm, know this: your dream didn't end last night. It just changed form, now shining softly through your steps, your eyes, and the tender glow of dawn's embrace. When the day is fully awake, you begin to notice something. Light doesn't just shine, it walks softly. Amid the brilliance, there are still rays that don't dazzle. They simply slide across a wall, rest quietly on a cup of tea, or trace a tender line across the floor. That's light that has learned gentleness. Physicists say that when light meets something soft, it doesn't bounce sharply. It scatters, spreading, blending, becoming one with what it touches. Just like people, after enough pain, they no longer need to shine to be seen. They just need to be, quietly, yet completely. Morning light is different from noon light. It no longer rushes, no longer proves its strength. It knows it doesn't exist to conquer darkness, but to live with it. And in that softness, everything in the room, the chair, the door, the drop of water, seems alive, touched by a light that understands love. Perhaps that's the final lesson night gives today. Be bright, but walk softly. Because what makes the world beautiful isn't how strong the light is, it's how tenderly it touches things, leaving them warmer, gentler, and quietly alive. Not everyone knows this, but light has memory. Every ray you see today has once traveled through darkness. Before it reached your eyes, It crossed vast stretches of empty space, silence, cold, and nothingness. And along that journey, it learned patience. Astrophysicists say that the light from a distant star can take thousands of years to reach Earth, which means when you look up at the sky, you're seeing the past shining still. That light carries the story of the dark, not as an enemy, but as proof that even through endless night, something gentle can keep going. Humans are the same. Every wound, every fall, is a stretch of darkness we walk through. But one day, when we smile for no reason at all, that's the moment the light within us has found its way out. It doesn't need to be blinding, only real, like a small ray that decides to shine despite the endless night ahead. So, if you ever feel lost, remember this. Light, too, has been lost, lonely, and afraid. But it kept moving, and that's why it can touch you now, to tell you that darkness was never the enemy, only the place where light learned to be kind. People often think that light only knows how to shine. But if you look long enough, you'll see. It also knows how to listen. When it passes through leaves, it doesn't break them. It listens to their trembling. When it moves across water, it bends with each ripple, not to win, not to dominate, but to flow in harmony. Optical scientists have found that light can change its direction, its speed, even its color, depending on what it passes through. In other words, light isn't rigid. It listens to the world in order to adapt. And that's why it can exist everywhere. In crystals, in fog, in human eyes, and even in the unfinished dreams of sleep. Humans are the same. Sometimes we must listen instead of reflect. To the silence in someone's voice, to the fatigue in our own. Because only when we truly listen, we stop hurting others with the brightness we thought was kindness. When light listens, the world softens. And when you stop explaining, stop needing to win, and simply stay still to hear, you begin to see beauty everywhere. Not because things have changed, but because in that shared quiet, both you and the light are hearing the same song. The song of understanding and of gentle compassion. There are mornings when the light touches the face of someone you love, and your heart softens. Not because of anything grand, but because the light feels alive, as if it's breathing with them. It slides through their lashes, rests on their cheek, and blends with their breath. And in that quiet instant, light stops being a physical thing. It becomes the breath of love itself. Neuroscientists say that when humans feel tenderness, a soft touch, a warm glow, the brain releases oxytocin, the trust hormone. In that tiny moment, the body shifts from defense to connection. In other words, light can truly open the human heart. When we love, we don't shine on someone. We simply walk as softly as light. No control, no demand, only presence, like sunlight passing through fog without trying to erase it. True love doesn't speak loudly, it breathes. It breathes with sadness, with joy, and keeps everything alive just as it is. If you look around this morning, you'll see light doesn't choose where to land. It falls on flowers, on moss, on cracks, on smiles, and on tears. Because love, like light, has never needed a reason, only a heart still enough to let it flow. In the end, every journey of light returns to the same place: stillness. Not because it fades, but because it becomes everything it has ever touched: the sky, the water, the eyes, and your heart. Light doesn't disappear. It simply comes home. Astronomers call its final moment redshift, when its energy stretches, softens, and dissolves into the background of the cosmos. But for the soul, that isn't loss, it's peace. It's the moment when light no longer needs to travel, because it has found a place to stay. Just like us, after all the shining, running, breaking, and becoming, we realize that peace was never ahead. It was always here, quietly breathing within us. If you sit still in the late afternoon, you'll notice the world glowing in a color that has no name. Not gold, not orange, but the color of enough. The trees stop swaying, the wind slows, and even the light lies down, wrapping the earth in a blanket of soft dusk. The universe doesn't go dark, it simply closes its eyes to rest. And so do you. After a day, a lifetime, a journey, you no longer need to shine. Just sit quietly and let the light return through every breath, every heartbeat, every small bloom of calm within your chest. Because in the end, all of us, human, tree, star, or wind, are finding our way back to the same place, the home of stillness, where light rests in the arms of love.